Good, good. Right, so we're live. First female guest.
Wow, I'm on it. Oh my God,
Yeah.
if you talk about that, I'm into female narratives. So if we start in there, oh my God, we have a lot of
So,
things to talk about.
yeah, so for those that don't know, Sara Alves, you have a long list of what you do. I'm just going to read off a few things. Actress, director, casting director, editor, burlesque dancer, singer, body positivity advocate, model. How,
I know.
how are you so busy?
I mean, I feel like, you know, I always wanted like acting
Yeah.
and directing. Those were the two things that I was really into. But then I realized in order to
Oh, you've gone. Your audio.
maybe someone is calling me. Just trying to see if they stop. But I can continue.
Yep.
You can still listen to me.
Have you got any headphones?
No, I don't have headphones.
Okay, that's fine. Carry on.
Okay. So, no, I always wanted acting and directing.
Yeah.
Um, but then I realized that, in order to make money,
Yeah.
because that was like the problem, right? Like when you want, in order to make money, like you had to do something else. And a lot of people in the acting and directing and, when they start like having like a bar job, a cafe, doing something like that, just to pay the bills. And I realized, why not do something that is still related with the industry, so I can still pay my bills, but at the same time be inside of it already, so I
Yeah.
can have already a sense of what things work, and that's the reason why I just started to, be a bit
Yeah.
of like have my tentacles everywhere.
Yeah, makes sense. So for those that are like watching, just to give you a little bit of credibility, so you've been in commercials, films, short films, music videos, TV shows, you dabbled in the theatre as well. So you're basically like every little girl's idol.
Oh my God, I wish. I wish. Um, yes, so yeah, in London, I mean, I started things, so I come from Portugal.
Right.
I'm Portuguese Brazilian, by the way, so I'm kind of like half, one foot in different sides of the world. Yeah, I started in Portugal, and I just realized that the market was too little, and I had too much of a mission to just be in one place. So I just said, like, I'm just going to London. Um, and London is kind of like a Pandora box. You have like so many possibilities. I really love this place. I really love,
Really.
I love you guys. I love the UK.
So when you were back home, what was the vision? What did you want to be?
I always wanted acting and directing. I mean, I started when I was a child. I mean, there was always like this talk, right? When I was a child,
Yeah.
we always go there. But yeah, I was really into writing stories.
Okay.
Um, to a point that my mom, she thought that I wanted to be a writer because I was always like writing and imagining. I was the kind of child that, or teenager, that I will never use toys or anything to play with. I would just come up with stories, and I have like my stack of like really strong friends that I would just distribute like characters. So I
Mm.
would say, okay, I'm seeing this, and you are this, and we will like I was literally like directing them without even knowing.
Wow.
Um, I was writing, but I was seeing the shots in my head, so I didn't know how to call that. I thought that I was just being a writer.
Mm.
And my mom and I went to communication first. I did a BA in communication journalism because my mom was like, "Oh, but you are a writer, right?" And I just didn't realize until I was almost like 20 or 18 that actually every story that I was writing is actually, I was seeing it as shots. So I was seeing it as a moving picture.
Right.
So
Wow.
literally, yeah. So literally, I realized, okay, you're not a writer. You want more than that. You want this to become to life. You want this to be, you know,
Yeah.
in a film.
100%. So do you still speak to any of the kids that you were directing, or?
really funny because most of them, they went to completely two different, one of them was like my cousin. She's now doing finance.
Oh
And my
wow,
other friend, she's a dentist in Ireland. Actually, she's Portuguese, but now she's in. And it's so funny that they never pursued anything artistic. I think I was the only one of the bunch that actually went for. And it's really funny. In Portugal, I didn't have almost any artists like friends. Most of them are actually doctors and finance people. I just went to London and completely changed everything. Like all my
wow,
friends are artists now, or actors, or filmmakers. Like now is the opposite. Now I don't know anyone that is out of that. It's funny, like how things
wow.
change.
So you grew up in Portugal.
Yes, I grew up in Portugal. I had the blessing of being in a surf town, so I was next to the sea, so a lot
Ah,
of inspiration. I was blessed also. My holidays would be in a countryside house that was in the middle of nowhere, so it was literally like acre of land and just me there, just writing.
wow.
So I think it's something that I wouldn't have it in the city. And I
So it's
think
very different.
yeah, it's very different. And then I travel a lot. I lived in Luxembourg when I was a teen, which is completely different world because I think Luxembourg like opened up this kind of possibility of knowing what is to be with people from different nationalities because I was in a European school there. So I kind of like had this first contact with people from everywhere, and then I had to develop my English very quickly as a teen. So it helped a lot for to have the tools to go to London later.
Yeah,
So it was
I can imagine.
nice.
So in terms of all the things that you kind of do now, was that part of the plan, or was that just something that you've picked up along the way, in terms of the all the things that you do?
I think it was like a chain of events. So I started in journalism. Um, then then I started like doing web TV. I was in a radio station,
Oh wow,
and it
cool.
was my first job was in a radio station. So and the first time that I actually picked up a camera was when I was in the radio station because they started to do web TVs in 2012. It was a long time
Yeah,
ago, and that when they started like 2011 they started to do web TVs and going from radio to having the podcast and the radio shows filmed. And then it's when I needed to do editing because I had to edit. So I started to do training in edit, and then I started to do editing. It was because of that. It wasn't like something that I wanted to do, like
yeah.
editing. It's just something that landed on it. And now it's actually my main income is from that, actually.
Wow. You could help me edit this. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just have to go on YouTube and Google everything.
Well, sometimes I mean, sometimes I wish that I didn't have so much training. There's so many things that tutorial, so much money that you spend. I mean, So I think you're doing right. I think you're in the right path.
Thank you. So, when you were coming from Portugal to London, back then, or when you first got to London, who was your main kind of influence, idol? Who did you look up to?
Um, in terms of directing, so I had like idols in directing and in acting. In terms of directing, um, I really like David Lynch, David Fincher. This kind of like very dark.
Yeah,
Aronofsky. They're very dark directors, and they do like very dark films and. But they inspire me a lot, and I love to do films that are like thrillers and um, touching a bit like repression and guilt, and having like female stories as well, having females as leads on this kind of, because it's a genre that doesn't have many lead actresses.
yeah,
We have just a few films like Gone Girl, who she is the lead, but most of the time the psychotic thrillers and the sociopaths and all that, American Psycho, Annabelle, all that is just males, 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 males.
yeah,
So it's like it's nice to change the gaze. So I liked David Fincher because of that, because he also introduced female characters into the lead roles, which I find it very interesting.
okay.
Um, yeah, and in acting, I would say I just love you know Lady Judi Dench. Like she's
Oh
just
wow.
I love it. I like the old ones, Maggie Smith, like they're really inspiring. I just find it so interesting how can reach that age and still have this wisdom and this
Yeah,
and this brightness, what I mean, this intelligence, like reaching that reading a script and having all these lines is difficult. And it's like I just feel like how can they just be in the moment and at the same time have this memory, I just yeah.
amazing. If you, oh, as I was looking through your kind of like portfolio, and all the things that you've done, if they made a film about your life, I think, do you know Gal Gadot? I think she should play
Really? Okay, that's nice.
you. I can see so many like resemblances.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
You ever
How
thought of
come?
playing Wonder Woman?
Oh yeah, I will. I could do this. That would be amazing. Oh, now Wonder Woman, the new one, the,
Mm,
the the Wonder Woman new one. It's I think it's in the cinema. Now it's really hard to be on the cinema, you know.
yeah.
But it's still there.
I
Yeah.
was having this conversation the other day actually about the cinemas and what they're going to do with COVID and stuff like that. It's an industry that I don't want to see go away.
No, I think it's gonna be a lot. I see like Meryl Streep like already doing films on Netflix. So
Mm,
um I think streaming is going to be the key now. And
yeah.
a lot of films are being postponed and being sold to Prime, to I don't know if I should say brands. I'm just,
it's,
I'm just like
it's fine.
saying brands all over. But yeah, I think like streaming is the key. And although I like to see, I have to be honest, I like to see the blockbusters and the visual effects and stuff on a big screen. I feel
Yeah.
like it just completely takes away if you just see in a tiny screen. But yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think what they're missing, like with Netflix and stuff like that, I think it should be able to add an element of like a social element to it, so you can connect with people that are watching the same film. I think that'd be a really good kind of thing to add on.
Yeah, like interactiveness, I
Yeah,
think.
like if you're watching something on Netflix, it could say like, "There's 200 people watching this right now. Do you want to interact with them?" And then it could be like a home cinema.
Would be great. And even like doing commentaries, I think that would be great if like that
Yeah,
director or the actor would be like comment and at the same time is like live and people could discuss the film with them. Or yeah, I think this kind of interactiveness, between the audience and the creators. I think Black Mirror is doing something very interesting. I think one of the episodes is actually you can choose the ending.
oh wow.
So it's kind of like you have like two choices, and there was like two films, and you can see like one of the streams according to the option that you want. It's very interesting. I think it's just revolutionary. That's the future, I guess.
Was it Black Mirror that they haven't released the last series, like the last season of it, because it was like too close to real life? And
Yes, yes. And Charlie Brooker, which is like one of the creators, um he's like I was going to be, because I'm working now for my university, Met Film School, and because now it's like dead time and I'm
yeah,
like, well, I need to work. I'm working with my former university. They're really great, and they do these kind of sessions with guest speakers, and one of these guest speakers is Charlie Brooker, is from Black Mirror.
wow,
But postponing all the time. It's been like so difficult to get hold of him. I
I
think
can imagine.
next year we're gonna get him, but it's really hard.
Is
Yeah.
is is that one of the because I know you've got a few projects in production at the moment, haven't you? So is that one of those or?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Talking about them, it's refreshing. So it's one of them is, it's a bit on the line of the thrillers that we talked about before.
Yeah,
One of them is called Haunted. You guys can go online. I'm already like
yeah.
doing promo.
Plug.
I'm the promo girl. So Instagram haunted underscore film.
Yeah.
So if you type that on Instagram, there is the page. The page is still starting, so we are starting the promotion. So the promotion is gonna start at the end of December. We're gonna have the crowdfunding in the 1st of Jan. So it's like starting the new year with the crowdfunding.
Yeah. Cool.
So the film is about Lana. She was abused as a child in the Stockholm syndrome. She developed the Stockholm syndrome over her abuser, and she's 1/3 of people who are abused actually become perpetrators.
Oh, wow.
It's the reality. And some of them are women, because most of women are the ones getting most abused in terms of percentage.
Yeah.
And but never, people don't talk about it. It's always like we always have films like with males and stuff like that, but there is also the other side of the story. And this woman, she is a huntress, so she inflicts pain on men, just to punish what they have done to her.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a vicious cycle, but at the same time she likes the abuser that did that to her. So she's always trying to find a male that looks like the man who is still in her head. And So she trapped one that she doesn't want to kill him, but she wants him to understand her.
Yeah.
So it's like the first time that, that she tries to break a bit the cycle, but he has no choice. He either has to kill her or he has to embrace who she is, which is quite monstrous.
Wow.
And this is kind of duality, and we are in the gaze of him. So we see how attractive he is towards her, because she's like this goddess that it's almost untouchable, but at the same time, uh, it's immoral what she's doing. So you have this kind of struggle within yourself as an audience, and also
Yeah. It's
through
a
his eye.
it's a really
So
good
yeah,
premise.
so it's quite interesting. Yeah.
Where do you get the So you say with some of the character traits of somebody with Stockholm syndrome, where do you get that from? Do you get that from psychologists, or do you get that from your own research, or what?
I did my own research, which was quite interesting. I always like to do my own research before I do films. Um, I always like to do films that are quite close to real facts or reality. Like I don't want to go too far away. Um, so yeah, it was a lot of research, and also it was funny because the producer of it, Parvinda, she is a doctor, so she's a mental health specialist and
Oh
she's a
wow, okay.
psychiatrist. So she's helping me. I mean, I created the story without even knowing her, but then when I tried to find producers, like she was one of the people that actually she reread it, and she kind of like tried to validate a bit what was written, because one thing is like me researching, and the other thing is having a validation for a person
Yeah,
that is from NHS, and is like, and then I felt a bit more like relief, because it's like we have these ideas in our minds that we want to, to portray, and they seem like very sexy and amazing in your head, but then you don't know if it's real, and I didn't want to do something that is completely out of it.
yeah, no, hundred
So I
percent.
think, yeah,
It was a
yeah.
perfect match then, really, wasn't it? It
Sorry.
was a perfect match.
It was a perfect
You
match. Like
found
I
each other.
didn't even know. Like it was a recommendation actually. It was a friend of mine that told me, "Oh, I know a person that might be interested in something like that." And I'm like, it was a surprise. I was like, I wasn't even thinking. The other project that I'm doing, which it's going to be a bit later and down the line, is not going to be in Jan that we're doing the crowdfunding, and like the other one that is going
Mm.
to be in May. This one is going to be much later, probably the end of next year or even the year after. It is a documentary about female stories of war during the Bosnian Balkan War.
Wow.
And I already interviewed the females through Zoom. And I already talked to other organizations. I think now that is going to Bosnia and film it there, which
Wow.
without authorizations is going to be like crazy. Um, and I think the problem about the Bosnia is that you need some authorizations now during COVID. That
Yeah.
it's a bit I also have a Bosnian friend who she's going to be the translator, and in Bosnia you have like three different culturally sects, so three different religions, three different ethnicities, and she's from the ethnicity that is seen as the enemy, so is the Serbian ethnicity. So
Wow.
she's going to show also the other side, what happened during the war, during on parts of the country that actually weren't touched by the war. So it's kind of like we have like women saying different things from different parts of the country, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
really interesting. It's,
yeah,
um, it's really interesting about the psychological effects of war and some of the stuff that people have to go through. It's just about how extreme like people can go through and still come out recovered on the other side, and there's just like the mental resilience as well.
yeah. No, it's exactly what you're saying. And another thing that is interesting is that a lot of documentaries, especially from that area, like Eastern Europe, Balkans, even Mediterranean, like I am, it's very again male oriented. Is like the male are the heroes because they are the ones who get the guns and go to war, but women are the ones that actually are the pillars of the family. So the men that will come home, they are the ones that actually have to be resilient.
Mm.
And in the ethnical cleanse, because there was a cleanse, a bit like in Germany, there was
Wow.
a cleanse of ethnicity. They would go from place to place and burn villages down, and women have to go from place to place and try to find the family members. Some of them are pregnant, so they were warriors on their own rights. They're not just victims, and I think that's the point of the film, is not showing that they were just the victims. They are warriors that escaped. They were refugees, survived. um yeah, and they are mothers and daughters, and yeah,
What's wrong
that's
with
it.
people? what's
Yeah, what's
what's
wrong
wr-
with people?
what's
Yeah,
wrong
yeah,
with people?
it's genocide. It's a bit like what happened in Armenia, and I think the reason why I wanted to do a film from these countries is that nowadays we have a lack of representation in a lot of sectors, right? And
Mm.
I feel like we are opening up with representation, for example, in the Black community with the Black Lives Matter. We are trying to get there. um, I feel as well that is a fight that is not just for one race, is a fight for every single ethnicity and race. And I feel like even myself, I feel as a minority from an European country, uh, I feel that sometimes there are opportunities that are missed because I'm not from a specific country. I just feel that too. And I feel like representation of minorities in Europe, like people from Lithuania, Latvia, all these countries, that they are still part of, the whole Europe. They are not really recognized, and people just don't know their history. And I feel like as a mission, since I'm coming from a country that is similar, I feel like I have to, go through these countries and also show their story. Yeah,
Yeah. Wow. That's going to be a good watch.
a
In
big mission.
Yeah. In terms of everything that you got going on, how was COVID for you? How was lockdown and everything like that? How did you stay sane?
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, in the beginning, it was a kind of, I felt as an opportunity to actually write a lot of things. Like I wrote the Haunted with a friend of mine because I mean, I had so many ideas that I didn't have time to actually develop them.
Yeah.
And I found as an opportunity, so I went very positive about it. But right now I think my physique is not really helping. I feel like a lot of aches in my body. Like I'm not used to be so stand still. I used to do events, going out there shooting. I used to be so active that my body is not really happy about it. Like I'm doing physiotherapy, which I thought, I'm just going to do
Wow.
that when I'm old. Yeah, not the case. Like I'm already doing it. I feel like, yeah, it's, it depends on people. I think that there are people that physically can handle it. I can't. I cannot. Is like, I think it's more like the physical than the mental, for me actually. um and yeah, my mom, she got COVID, so hospitalized as well in
Wow.
Portugal, not here. So, and yeah, so it was a bit hard, but I mean everything is safe now and everybody is
Good.
okay. So I think now we have to be positive for 2021.
Yeah. So she's fine. Mum's fine.
She's fine. Yeah, it
Good.
was
Good.
like 2 weeks of desperation, but yeah.
I can imagine a stressful 2 weeks. Well, one of the things I was going to ask, how do you feel about influencers from Instagram, YouTube, TikTok as well, some of the new platforms? How do you feel about the the ones that have quite a big following coming into the acting space? Do you feel like it's more diluted, or do you feel like you're missing opportunity because there's people that aren't actors, but they have a following that's coming into the space? And I've spoke to a few different directors and casting directors, and they're saying that if like with a following, and if somebody can leverage an audience, they'll have a um, more of an opportunity to get roles in films and budget things.
Well, that's why I'm not getting much. Not to, no, because my following is not. I don't have like thousands.
Yeah,
But yeah, now I see. Oh, now you made a relief. No, I'm kidding. I feel like yeah, I feel there is a bit an obsession right now with followers.
yeah,
Like in a sense, it's good that it is a platform that gave opportunity to certain people that couldn't otherwise.
mm,
I mean, I remember regarding modeling, I think we are all about that at this point. Because, you know, before we had models in the 80s that they were discovered by agents and it was like a luck thing and they're kind of like they will be in the right place in the right time. And now a lot of models and actors, and it's also funny because you have the people from Instagram or TikToks, they become famous in those platforms and then they start a modeling career and then from modeling they go to acting, so it's
yeah,
kind of like which was the you know some of the chain of events, you know, that happened before, you know, being model first and then actor, but now you have the platform number two, which is like now you go from platform to modeling to acting.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit dubious because, you know, sometimes it's actually about talent and they are talented and they attracted this amount of, and I believe in that people can be talented and attract this amount of people, and get like loads of exposure and have loads of fans. But
hmm,
I also believe that there is a lot of marketing to it. There is a
yeah,
lot of like money into it, so sometimes it's not the talented ones that get the most followers. Sometimes it's, you know, it's the person that has an agent or a producer or a marketeer that is behind them and can actually gather the amount of followers or even buy followers, which is quite illegal. But, you know, there are people who
yeah.
do everything to be
So,
famous.
so in terms of people like, do you know Charlie D'Amelio?
No,
So
no,
she
unfortunately.
no so
Should
she
I?
so she
Maybe I should.
she started on TikTok. I'm not sure how old she is. I think she's about 17. Probably should have done my research before asking this question, but so
No, no,
she
it's fine. I'm from other generation as well. I'm 30, so I'm the TikTok came way after me. So
yes.
yeah.
So this girl Charlie, she has about 64 million followers on TikTok, and all she does is like dances, like the trending dances. And now, from just being a normal kid, she's hanging out with the Kardashians, and she's doing stuff on TV and film and music videos and stuff like that. And because people like that who have got a following really quickly through things like TikTok, Vine, YouTube, it seems as though they don't really have the acting talent like somebody that like from your perspective who's put in like years of graft into something you've been doing, you've wanted to do since you were a kid, and then it feels like they come in and like stealing the limelight a little bit with not that much with not that much skill. It's just about them growing the following.
I mean, if they have the opportunity to have that, then go for it. Like I wish, like I feel like I wish that you know, sometimes I think we live in a kind of a world that it's better to have less talent and have a lot of money or a lot of influence than
Mm.
having a lot of talent and then don't have really influence at all because you don't go anywhere. So it's kind of like it's a bit unfair. I mean, the world is quite unfair, and I think with the platforms they've been. I mean, I'm not getting started with Kim Kardashian because this one is like everything started with a sex tape and then you see where it go. It's
Yeah.
really, really, really weird. So it's kind of like it breaks really this idea that, if it was another person doing a sex tape, maybe, a lot of people do it to try to get fame,
Yeah.
and they don't get anywhere.
One of the
So yeah.
one of Grant Cardone's quotes is that Kim Kardashian, she takes nothing and then turns it into money. She just takes nothing and then just monetizes nothing. I don't know how she does it, to be honest.
I think it's a platform and a structure, because they have TV shows, they have reality TV. I think the family, I think even all these things that she has done before she was famous, I think it was the family trying to boost that
Yeah.
and make it work. And it's a bit like Gigi the Hadids, like Gigi Hadid, and
Mm,
they were part of a family that was already in the business.
yeah.
So maybe a mother or a father, they were quite well known. They were quite not well known, or maybe the father is, oil person, is from the industry and corporation. They have loads of money, so they have influence in other ways. And then suddenly we see these people that we never heard of their parents, but if we dig in, we just realize what is inside. So everybody out there that feels a bit sad of not being famous or not being recognized, I just have like a tip. It's kind of like, there are talents out there, but a lot of things is moved with money and marketing and influence, and sometimes it's not your problem. It's not
Yeah.
you that you have a problem. You know what I mean? So I think it could ease your mind. You know what I mean? If you think about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm doing what I can. It's not because I am worse or bad and they are amazing. Maybe I'm also have some talent within me. It's just I wasn't in the right platform yet, or I didn't have the right, people like around me, or the money or the influence.
Yeah.
But maybe one day it could happen. So it's not just to give up yet. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I one of the first episodes I did of this podcast was with a guy called Lee White. He's a creative alchemist. He's done a bit of acting as well, and he was talking about the rejection side of things, like you just said, and it's very different because, say, if I was in like a sales job, the my whoever manager or whatever, they'd be critiquing my ability to sell things like in sales, but in acting, it's you that's being critiqued. Like they're not rejecting a skill set, it's you. So it's a different kind of rejection that people usually face.
Yeah, no, it's true. um i think I think people, because actors, well, I can include in that bunch. We're kind of very emotional people. I mean,
Yeah,
we are very vulnerable in a sense, because we kind of use our bodies to, as a tool of work, in a sense, as a tool
100%.
of channeling emotions. So everything that uses bodies, either modeling, either acting, um, it's quite difficult to dissociate with us, but we have to, in a sense. I feel like we have to think that there is a line between me, Sarah, and me, actress, going there and showing this skill and
Yeah,
using my body as a vessel. um, and I think if you don't have that line in your mind, it's going to be very hurtful. It's going to be a very hurtful path, you know.
yeah,
uh,
100%. One of the things I was going to ask you about as well, feel completely free to tell not answer, but with the in terms of OnlyFans, what's your opinion on OnlyFans? Being from like burlesque industry, modeling.
Fans for burlesque people.
No, OnlyFans, the app.
Oh, I never heard of that happen.
Oh right, okay. So OnlyFans, it's
I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm in a bubble of the world. Maybe that's the
so
reason
actually no.
now I'm not
So
famous. No, I'm
this is really refreshing. So it's a subscription service, so you can make an account. Anybody can make an account on there, and people pay £5 a month, £10 a month, £30 a month for your nudes.
Ooh,
So,
oh,
so
oh,
it's
I
like
never
so
been there. You see, I'm a burlesque dancer, never been there, so it
it's
tells something.
yeah, it's getting very very big, and it's all around the world, and I've more and more. Instagram influencers, YouTubers, actresses, models, they're getting OnlyFans because if they've got a following of a few thousand people, a few hundred people, and they charge £20 a month as a subscription for their active nudes, sexual videos, stuff like that, they're making small fortunes.
Wow. Oof.
I know. So
Well, I'm funny. It's funny because I'm a kind of a duality um in that field, because I come from a very conservative country, like Portugal
right,
is quite conservative, and I do burlesque. So it seems like odd. It seems like, well, you're not. But then I have Brazilian family, so it's kind of like, which is very open. So you have I have this kind of two worlds in one.
yeah,
Um, it's very cultural, a lot of things when related to nudity and body, and in countries like Luxembourg, I could go to a spa and be naked and it will not be a problem. But if I was in Portugal going to a spa, like a sauna, nakedness, it would be like forbidden. So it's very, I'm when in terms, I mean, I love to do burlesque.
hmm
I feel like, for example, burlesque, for me, OnlyFans, okay, let's put it this way. For me, nudity on digital,
hmm
either OnlyFans, where you receive money from it, either on Instagram, because I could do a live and do a striptease, on Instagram. I feel a bit uncomfortable with it.
yeah,
So I like burlesque as a performance act, as an
yeah,
act on a stage that is limited to certain amounts of people, which are normally people from that world. So the people that actually attend burlesque performances, um, it's not everybody. We have a kind of community, and even when we bring friends and stuff, we know that they respect that we are not strippers, we are burlesque dancers. And
hmm
as much as I have and I have respect for stripping, don't get me wrong, like I've been in strip clubs before, they do their job very nicely. I feel like burlesque, it goes a bit beyond that. So it's not just stripping the clothes. It's almost like it mixtures acting, it mixtures comedy, it mixes a message. Sometimes you can do burlesque and be a feminist burlesque person, even using your
hmm
body, even though they say it's objectification, you can use it as an instrument. So I feel like there is this kind of cabaret circus element to it that is very shiny, very drag. The
yeah,
drag community is very related to burlesque. It's
100%.
it's a completely different world, and I separate very, you know vividly from, doing nudes, or even performing online. I get a bit concerned because it can be used. We don't know what the audience is going to do with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think that's my main concern. I feel like if I'm on a stage, um, it's a public space, and it's just amount of people that pay the subscription to go there and see me on a stage. I could do in a theater, I could be nude in a theater, I mean, doing an acting in a theater is different, because I'm here, I'm doing that performance, I'm doing that character. I feel like it's very character driven, like I'm
yeah,
doing a character. It's not me, Sarah, doing it. It's Kiki Noir, um my name. So I just feel like there was a separation, and I feel like it's a very glamorous and musical and circusy. um
it's very
I don't
empowering as
see.
well for women. A very
Yeah,
empowering.
yeah, exactly. It's an empowering, and it has message. I feel like there is more message than just stripping. I feel like when you start to do um digitally, you don't know what they're doing with it. You don't
Yeah,
know if they're using for sexual purposes, and that's not what I want burlesque to be.
yeah,
And if you're in a cabaret, people are not going to do those things. It's forbidden. So people just watch, just clap, just hooray. But more than that, and people don't touch you, and people don't ask you, "Oh, can you send me things?" There's not an abusive interaction. There is
yeah,
this idea that you are on a stage and you are in that pedestal, and people are just cheering you, you being you, completely out of clothes, completely being yourself and embracing your body.
Yeah,
And I think that's a celebration more
100%.
than, yeah, more than I'm just getting used. When you just do it digitally, it's already concerning. When you already ask for paying, I don't see much different as doing a sex cast, or being a prostitute.
And that, yeah,
I
that's what a
like
lot of people are
visually, because
saying.
it's still sex.
Yeah,
It's
that's
still
what a lot of people
sex.
are saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
in terms of that as well, there's because of how big it's getting. Because a lot of people uh, are out of work because of COVID. They're on furlough. They need some extra income, and it's a really easy avenue for people to earn an extra £100 a month, £200 a month, couple of thousand a month. Um, some of the top earners, they're making so much money. I think the top bracket is about 1 million a month for some of the girls. I know there's a girl, Bella Delphine. She started on YouTube. She hasn't got that many subscribers on YouTube, but she went to TikTok and then OnlyFans, and she makes just over 1 million a month just from selling nudes on OnlyFans.
but then if you ask, where's your money from? I would
Yeah,
be a bit weird to say, you know what, like, I'm a millionaire and I have this mention because I exchange, I do sexual position, because I assume there is not just nudes, artistic
yeah.
nudes. I
Well,
assume there's
no,
going to
no,
be
no.
nudes with some more, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
some more content, some more action, because one thing is nudity, and I did nudity as a model, which is very respectful, and it's quite beautiful and artistic. And another difference is, doing sexual positions, a bit more pornographic, a bit more like Playboy, kind
yeah,
of, these magazines. I think there is a line there that,
yeah, definitely.
you're crossing it. You're just going to the other side, I feel.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a slippery slope as well. And I've seen it in the news where teachers, primary school teachers, have lost their jobs because they've had an OnlyFans account, and children have subscribed. And I've seen students that have just left school that have got an OnlyFans account, and then their teachers have subscribed to their OnlyFans. They're old teachers, and it's just a messy area. I think a lot of people are very confused about it.
Yeah.
Um, so coming away from that, there's one thing I need to ask you because of the nature of the podcast, and that's do you, Sarah, believe in aliens?
Do I believe in aliens? Well, I believe. I love that. We're going like from sex to aliens. I love
Yeah.
it. It's like a very eclectic
Yeah.
podcast. Um, Aliens. I have mixed feelings about it. So I would say that I believe they exist, but I won't say that they look like what we see in science fiction
Oh,
films with this
okay.
like Mars Attack, where they're all green and stuff like that. Yeah, but I believe there is, if there is life on Earth, I believe that there is probably life in other galaxies that
Yeah.
we reach. I mean, I don't think things are limited to our galaxy, to be honest.
Yeah. No. I agree.
And there's so many things that we didn't explore yet, that I feel like it would be very limited of us just to say, oh, because we haven't seen anything in our galaxy, there is none. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But can I prove it? No.
Yeah. I
It's
agree.
one of those things. You just believe it or not, I guess.
One of the things that I was talking about in the last episode as well was the simulation theory that this isn't real. This is just a simulation that we're living in. Um, what you?
I think about Matrix. Um,
Yeah, Matrix. That basically. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I sometimes I have these thoughts. Sometimes it's sometimes when you in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes I'm the kind of person that I go sometimes beyond what I'm living.
Hmm.
The way I'm saying it seems like too weird, but it's kind of like when when you were in a traffic jam, or when you were like rush hour, and you see all these people around you, and you kind of feel it in your own bubble, and you just go outside looking in and see like, why are these people who are just so crazy, like thinking of this one. Sometimes I have these kind of thoughts, like I go outside and think, man, is this really real? Especially when I'm under too much stress.
Hmm.
I just feel like, why am I bothering? Why am I why am I in stress? Like, is this worth it? Is this really real for me to be stressed
Yeah,
about?
100%.
So yeah, no,
That
it's madness. Yeah.
that's like one of the theories that it's like a Sims. You know, you ever play Sims, the game?
Oh yeah, I used to
It's
play a
just
lot.
like that, and some galactic child somewhere is saying, let's put a pandemic in there and see how they'll react, and then it's just a game to somebody. We're living in a game.
Like chess, you know what I mean? Like, let's say
Yeah,
who's doing the
100%.
checkmate. I really
Yeah,
feel like they got it wrong. The Maya, they say that the calendar Maya, that you know, it was 12, 20, it was 2012 that they were saying. Like, I think they get it wrong. I think it was 2020.
yeah. That's actually a thing. Have you read that?
Yeah, some conspiracy. There was some theories about that. You know, it was like the end of the world. I really believe that they might be true, but it's not the end of the world per se. It would be like a
Yeah.
catastrophe or something, which
So
this looks a bit like it.
yeah, so just to fill in a few of the listeners, they so some of the theories are that when we changed over from different calendars to the calendar we had now, there was an 8-year discrepancy. So on the Mayan calendar, the end of the world was dated December 21st, 2012. So with adding on the discrepancy, it's the 21st of December 2020. So we've got 5 days. What are you going to do for 5 days?
Oh my God. Oh yeah, we have 5 days until the world ends.
Yeah, so
Man, I mean, what do you think is like a spiritual ending? Like, because you know, it can be physical ending, but it can be like spiritual ending. It can be like, I don't know, it can be you know, things getting worse, and you know,
yeah.
everybody, you know, it's like half of them. You wake up one day. Sometimes I have these dreams, like especially during the pandemic, that you wake up one day and you have like half of the world dead, or half. I know it's something like sad, but
Yeah.
can you imagine like waking up and there's like, you know what, like something, you know, crazy happened, and you're like, okay,
Like the Avengers.
what's next?
Like on the
Sorry.
Avengers. Like on the Avengers where
Yeah,
Thanos
yeah,
clicked his
like on the
fingers,
Avengers.
half of the.
And you're like, whoa, and you ask like, why not me, you know, like you just like,
Yeah.
why I was chosen to stay,
Wow.
you know.
So, because
Very,
uh,
very dark.
yeah, there was government documents released in April. I don't know if you know, but it was there was a legal battle, and the government had to release some documents in the USA and the UK, and one of those documents was kind of pointing to the idea that the government knew that we were living in a simulation, and that's what kind of started the whole thing off. Um, I'll send it to you. It's actually really interesting. I sent
I
it to.
would love to hear, like, all these theories are just insane.
Yeah, so
I
I've,
love
I've
it.
actually got the government document that they released. So I'll send that you after this. But if they announce tomorrow that this is a simulation, would you what would how would that would you go back to work? Would you carry on acting? What would you do?
I would think, oh, maybe my body aches is a simulation, then I'm safe. I would be happy, like, oh my God, so this is my brain? Jesus.
Reprogram yourself.
Yeah, reprogramming. No, I would ask, is there a way to reprogram something?
Yeah,
If this is a, I mean, if we go to the premise that this is like a simulation, it means like someone is controlling the simulation, so it's possible to actually reprogramming, change things. So I would be curious to, you know, to get hold, to get more control of certain things in life. So I was just
yeah,
like, man, I really thought that we didn't have any control, but we
yeah.
do. So
Wow.
well,
So yeah, we're coming towards the end, but earlier today, I think it was earlier today, I made a video on TikTok about this, and I asked if any of my kind of viewers had any questions for you, and I've got a few questions from the audience, if that's okay. It's a quick fire round.
okay, okay, fine. Oh,
So the
great.
first one comes from Sarah Peaches 78. Would you go on I'm a Celebrity? Get me out of here.
Say it again. Sorry.
Would you go on I'm a Celeb? I'm a Celebrity? You know where
If
they
I would go on a hang on with a celebrity or just be with a
No, so
celebrity.
have you ever watched I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, where they go into the jungle and eat?
No, no, no. I'm so out of this world.
It's
I
okay.
feel
So
like if she's in a bubble, yeah, I'm in a bubble.
it's I love it. It's so refreshing because everybody's like on their phones constantly, and I'm a Celebrity is like it's an English-made TV show, and for 3 weeks they put loads of celebrities in the middle of the jungle, and they have to do trials for food, and they have to eat bugs, and they have to get covered in.
Survivor. In my time, it was
Kinda,
Survivor. You know,
yeah, kinda. Would you do something like that?
I would. I love challenges. Oh my. And if I
Wow.
had with celebrities, that would be fun because then I would just see. I mean, actually, I met a celebrity. I met Paris Hilton once.
Oh, really?
But that would be another podcast.
Yeah, I think
Um,
we're definitely gonna have
Getty
to get you on
family.
again.
I know a member of Getty family is a friend of mine.
Wow.
So we went to Paris Hilton and the Princess of Greece, Olympia,
Wow.
Greece. It was her birthday. I was there without knowing. He didn't tell me. I didn't even know that he was part of this great family. I just realized there was like a line of butlers, and I
Wow.
was like, where am I? And I was like, I am Paris. And I'm like, hi. And my friend was like, this is Paris Hilton. I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it. I only realized that I was in that party when I went like, I'm in a bubble. When I went like to on the internet and I was like, holy crap, I was actually in this party. Later, the next day, like I didn't even know where I
Wow.
was.
Wow. Okay, so the next one comes from Kevin Henry. Is there any role that you wouldn't play that you just refuse?
Ooh, Kevin, that's a good one. That I wouldn't play. I don't think I think I would play any, even a prostitute, even things that are immorally, against myself. Like I think I like to play the roles that I would not want to be in
Okay,
reality.
yeah,
I think these were the first ones that I would go for. So I don't know, a Nazi or something like going like really against like things
yeah.
that are really wrong. I would play.
I think one of the roles that I'd struggle with personally, if I was like that way inclined, was the roles where they have to lose loads of weight and get really skinny and oh no, I think I've lost you, Sarah.
I'm
He's back,
back.
yeah.
Something went wrong.
It's
Everybody
okay.
froze.
It's okay. So, yeah. So I'm not sure if you heard, but the one of the things that I wouldn't really want to do is like drastically lose weight, and or gain weight. Oh no, you've got it again. Hey, she's back.
Hey, we're back. Oh my God, everybody froze.
Yeah. So I was saying that one of the things that I wouldn't want to do is like where they have the drastic weight loss for a role or drastic weight gain. Um,
Oh, okay. I
like
think I would,
you would.
but I'm crazy. I think I would. I'm crazy. I actually love Jared Leto and um, Michael Fassbender and all these actors that actually undergo to that. I think I really respect them. I think it's just amazing.
Yeah. So there's no role that you wouldn't take.
Yeah.
Good, good.
Sorry, Kevin. I know you wanted an answer, but
Andrew Murray asks, off topic, but how will you be spending Christmas? Have you got any unusual traditions?
ooh, unfortunately, I will not spend Christmas with my family.
Oh yeah, because of COVID and
Because
Portugal.
of COVID, and then my mom, she got the problem and all that, so it's
Yeah.
quite difficult. Um, but I will spend it here. My New Year's and my Christmas, I wanted to go outside and do something because there are restaurants and things, like I don't know, do like ping pong restaurants or karaoke. I just love to do these kind of crazy things, but everything was, now with tier 3 in London, I'm in
Mm.
London, everything was closed. So I got my money back. I was refunded from every single thing. And I was like, are you kidding me? I had like 2 cabaret shows that I was going this week. Christmas time
Wow.
I'll have like the ping pong like ball pit thing, karaoke. Then New Year's Eve it was like 1920s like Great Gatsby with lobster
Oh
and
wow.
champagne. Amazing. It was like a nice price. All gone. So now
Wow.
I think I'm just doing a loads of traditional food from my country, like sweet rice and all
Yeah.
these kind of traditional. Yeah, I think I'm gonna cook, which is a bit lame for me because I'm not like I love to cook. I'm not like a cook master, but I mean I think that's the only thing that I can do through
Yeah,
Christmas
no
and cook.
problem. That's good. That's a good one. It's Lydia Henderson. Lydia Henderson. How do you pull yourself out of a rut?
Ooh, what is ruts?
So when you're like in a hole of being depressed, like when you're um, like down and depressed, how do
Down
you
and
how do you
depressed.
pull
Oh,
you? Yeah,
Lydia. Hi, Lydia. Thank you so much for this question. I feel like it comes from a deep place.
yeah.
I feel. I mean, normally I like to wake up in the morning and write the things that I like about myself, or
Oh, really?
achievements that I've done. Like I think it's something that is is like motivational talk. I think it's very, if you're down, I mean, I don't do that every day, but especially when you're down, I think that is really important when you wake up in the morning and say what goals, what I want to do for example for the next few weeks or for the next year, or what are the good things that I find about me? Which is something that people just don't stop to think about these things. I think reflection is important and trying to reverse the thoughts, because
Mm.
I had depression before, and I know how it is. And especially in not even depression, even when you're sad, I think that really helps to flip the switch. And another thing is like doing exercise. I just love doing exercise. I think like yoga, body balance, body combat if you want to be more active, if you want to like just get the energy out of the way. Sometimes it's just physical as well. Is your brain that has this kind of like hormones. Sometimes it's not just the situations that make you sad. Sometimes it's even lack of serotonin, lack of
Yeah,
this kind of that you need. And sometimes because you don't eat certain foods, sometimes you go down, and it's not your fault. Sometimes it's not even situations, it's your brain. So you
yeah.
have to reset your brain,
Drink
eat
water as well.
healthy. Yeah, eat healthy and just exercise. Like I love like dance, like so good.
Yeah, you do that. One of the things I was going to ask you as well before I kind of end this was you speak a lot of languages as well, don't you?
Yes, I do.
I am trying to learn some, and I was wondering, what's your advice? Because it won't stay in my head.
I mean, it really depends on the languages, because I know all the Latin languages because they're easy
Ah,
for me. The
yeah, because
French,
they're
the
the same.
Spanish. But when I tried to learn Dutch, because I live in the Netherlands for a year, I tried to learn Dutch and it was a nightmare. Like
Wow.
I couldn't get. I did it a year, and it was almost like I did like a few days. Like I didn't know anything. I just don't know how to reproduce. Um, do you want some tips
Yeah,
for learning English?
I've got an app called Duolingo.
Oh,
Um,
I love this app.
yeah, it's really good actually. Yeah, I'd recommend it to anybody. That's not a brand deal, by the way, for anybody that's listening. I'm not getting paid by Duolingo.
No, no, I'm not paid either, and I can recommend. So yeah, I'm starting to learn Russian because my boyfriend he comes from like a Russian family, so I'm
Oh
trying
wow.
to learn Russian, which is добрый.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
I
but
The languages that I'm trying to learn is French for one because it's Paris is one of my favorite places in the world, and my daughter wants to go to Disneyland, so that's where I'm going to be
ooh,
taking her, and I want to be able to speak some of the language and Indonesian as well.
Oof, Indonesian. I have lots of friends from Indonesia because
Yeah,
it was a colony from the Netherlands.
right.
Or the Netherlands had association with it, so I had loads of friends. They're nice, and they say it's an easy language to learn.
Hmm.
At least I don't know if that's true, but it's like they say it's one of the easiest from the Asians. Like if you go for Mandarin, then you're just screwed.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh,
Good.
I really what tips? I mean, if it's for example French, you can have like other languages if you know any other language that is Latin. For example, if you know like a little bit of Spanish, or if you know any Latin languages, it's quite similar.
Hmm.
Like Italian, for example, is very similar to French. So if you already have knowledge of other languages that are similar to this language, this is the kind of a way to go back to the root and just see it.
Yeah.
If you don't, if it's like Indonesian, which is completely like something that is like you
Someone
probably
else.
never heard of anything clear. I think it really helps if you note it down, um translation. So what I do is like normally you have small words, so I break down the words, so I learn the words first, which
Hmm.
Duolingo is really good, by the way, because it
Yeah.
starts with the words and then you do the sentences.
Yeah,
I think that,
it teaches you how a baby would learn to speak.
yeah, and that's the correct way, to be
Yeah.
honest, because you will never know how to go to the sentences before that. So I think like having these kind of separate words first, nouns like girl, these kind of things that you
Yeah.
need to point at, and then you go for the pronouns, and then you kind of go back until you get to the phrase, to the sentences, and the verbs. I think it's the last thing because it's really complex.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, yeah, appreciate that. So, have you got a message for everyone listening, or?
I have a message. I mean, besides Merry, thank you so much for the questions of
It's okay.
everybody, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy festivities, and just hold on. Things are, as you say, is a pass. Life is a passage, and even though you think that we are in the worst time of our lives, we feel things in a more impactful way when we perceive them. So, and things always pass. So, not everything is forever. So, you will have that relief, you will have that happiness. You just need to hold on and think positive and work towards it. So, this 2020 will gonna go bye bye, and 2021 we will have like a new era and a new beginning. So, not everything is lost.
Beautiful. Um, where can they find you on Instagram?
Instagram. So Sara, so Sara, Maggie, Mawgie, IE, Alves, Alves. So that's my main one. And
Yeah.
then we have Haunted. That's the
The
important one.
Haunted.
The
Yeah.
film. Haunted underscore film. So it's on Instagram. So if you type that, it's like the first one to appear. And we're going to have more videos towards the end of this month. Crowdfunding coming 1st of Jan. And Kiki Noir. So if you want to follow my performances, I did a few performances already. Luscious Cabaret, which is a cabaret in London. You should watch it. They're
Yeah.
always doing like amazing performances. So it's Kiki Noir dot performer. If you go, Noir is like in French, Noir, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. So Kiki Noir. So if you go online on Instagram, you can find me there and you can follow me. I will follow back. I will answer all the questions. I'm very active. I only have 700 followers, 786 to be precise.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
I mean, if you follow, I will have time to answer everything. So yeah.
Amazing. Appreciate it. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much,
No
James, for
worries.
this.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye.